Hey YouTube, welcome back to my financial focus. In this video, I want to do an intrinsic value analysis of NIO stock and their business. I'm going to be going through their annual report to understand how the business makes money, their future growth prospects, some of the risks posing their business, and also finally review their financial statements like their income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow statement. And I'm also going to be doing a discounted cash flows intrinsic value analysis of their business, the values of which I've already plugged in, and I'll explain how I got these values in a minute here. So if you're new to the channel, be sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe if you haven't already, and comment down below what you guys think of the video after you're done watching it. And let's get right into it. So as you can see right here, in the last 5 years or since NIO went public, their stock is currently up 581%, and in the last month it's actually up 20%. So they've been rallying back up since they've declined over the last year. So we're going to figure out if this presents a good buying opportunity for us as value investors. So the first thing that I'm going to do is touch on this intrinsic value analysis that I've done. These values right here, the growth rates, I just got them from Yahoo Finance. If I scroll down right here from NIO to analysis, we can see right here growth estimates are expected to be about negative 15% over the next 5 years. And keep in mind, that's just an assumption by analysts, but it is the value that I'm going to go off in this video. And then for the next 6 to 10 years after that, I just kept it the same. The discount rate that we're going to discount our cash flows back to the present value of today is 10%. Terminal value is 10 times year 10 free cash flow, so that's theoretically what we would sell the business for in year 10. Year 1 free cash flow, I just got that from TradingView. As you can see right here, I just go to TradingView, NIO Inc. Financials, cash flow, scroll down, and came out to $119 million, which I put in right here. The net cash minus net debt I just got from Yahoo Finance just by going to the statistics tab, scrolling down, and we can see balance sheet total cash $46 billion and total debt $17 billion. And I just subtracted that from each other, and this is net cash minus net debt. Stock ticker NIO, and then shares outstanding 1.64 billion, which I got right here. And after plugging these values in for that come from NIO's current financial health, I got these values right here, which show that the intrinsic value per share based on NIO's current cash flows and expected growth rate is about $18.76 per share. So based on that model, that would assume that NIO is currently overvalued by quite a bit. And then the 30% margin of safety that we would want to buy it in would be about $13 per share, and then $9 per share for a 50% margin of safety. So not sure if that's accurate because discounted cash flow models obviously have a lot of assumptions, but it is just a tool that we can use to reference when we're trying to figure out the intrinsic value of a business. So the next thing that I want to do is go into their annual report right here, and I'm just going to start off by talking a little bit about what NIO does and how they make money. So first page that I'm going to go to is page 65, and on this page they give a little overview of the different vehicle designs that they have that they've been selling over the last couple of years. So the first vehicle that I'm going to go over is the ES8. The ES8 is this vehicle right here. It's basically a 6-seater or almost a 7-seater flagship premium smart electric SUV, and the starting price for this is about 468 yuan to 476,000 yuan, and that equates to about 74,000 US dollars. The next car that they talk about in their annual report is the ES6, which is a car that they've been focusing on for a little bit. This is it right here. It's basically a 5-seater, high-performance, premium, smart electric SUV. You can see the statistics right here. And the starting price for this is about 398 yuan to like 468,000 yuan, which equates to about $62,000. Next car is the EC6, which is a premium smart electric coupe SUV, as we can see right here. And this car's starting price comes out to be about 468,000 yuan, and on the low end about like 408,000 yuan, which comes out to be about $63,000. And then their final car, which is the car that we saw on their homepage, is the NIO ET7, which is a smart electric sedan, and it's currently available for pre-order on the NIO app, and they estimate that they'll start delivery of the ET7 somewhere around 2022. So the next thing I'm going to look at is the risk factors that are facing NIO's growth in the future. And I'm not going to read through all of the risk factors in this video, but after reading through them on my own time, I sorted out a couple that I thought were interesting to me, so I'm just going to point those out right now. So the first risk that they have is their ability to acquire the necessary funding to continue building their cars, because as it stands at the moment, NIO isn't actually profitable, and so they have to finance their business operations through things like debt and share issuances. However, recently they did finally start producing a positive cash flow from their operating activities. Also, another risk is that they have limited operating history and limited experience selling vehicles and being a business altogether, because they came together in 2014 and really only started selling cars in 2018. And then obviously they have international competitors like Tesla, who's their biggest competitor. And Tesla obviously has better financial, technical, manufacturing, and marketing resources. So that might in the future put downward pressure on NIO's prices and also cause lower unit sales. And something else that I thought was interesting with NIO is that they rely on different raw materials like aluminum, steel, lithium, which is another raw material that Tesla also relies on for their batteries as well as NIO's batteries, nickel, and cobalt. And obviously the price of these raw materials fluctuates, and that's out of NIO's control. So that could definitely affect the price of their vehicles and their operating expenses moving forward. Also, NIO's brand plays a big part in their revenue growth in the future. So if there's ever any negative publicity around their brand, then that could obviously have a negative adverse effect on their future revenue growth. And then there's also two macroeconomic factors that could contribute to NIO's revenue growth decline in the future, which are the growing US and China trade tensions, as well as potential changes that are unpredictable in the way that the Chinese Communist Party regulates the manufacturing and sale of electric vehicles and smart vehicles and things like that. So they basically have all these risks in their annual report, and I'll put the annual report in the description for anyone who wants to go in and continue reading through it. It's pretty interesting. But for now, I'm just going to skip ahead and go straight to the financial statements, the first of which appears on 102. So right here, we can see a breakdown of their vehicle sales in 2020 separated by quarter. So we can see quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, and quarter 4. It looks like most of their ES8 vehicles were sold in quarter 4, totaling out to about 10,800 at the end of the year, 27,000 ES6, and then about 5,000 EC6s. And they haven't started selling the ET7 sedan yet. And then the next page would be 103. We can see right here their revenues broken up by year and also by vehicle sales, and then other sales and other revenue sources for their business. Vehicle sales clearly make up a large percentage of the revenues. In 2020, it was about 93%. And of the 2.4 billion yuan that they had for their revenue in 2020, about 2.3 billion of that came from their vehicle sales. And then right here we can see the cost of their sales as well, which came out to be about 2 billion for their vehicle sales. Next page that I want to look at is page 112. This is their income statement, and we can see right here in 2020 they have this separated by yuan, and then for 2020 they broke it up into dollars to make it easier for US citizens to read, I suppose. And right here we can see that they've been operating at a net loss, but their net loss decreased pretty substantially in 2020 from around 11 billion yuan down to 5 billion yuan. Next thing I want to look at is page 117. Right here we can see a quick little summary of their cash flows. Their operating activities finally produced a positive cash flow in the year ending 2020 at about 1.9 billion yuan, which equates to about 290 million US dollars. From investment activities, they invested about $777 million, so they're still investing more cash than they're bringing in from their operating activities, and they're financing that through their financing activities, which came out to be about 6.3 billion US dollars. Then I'm going to go to page 162. This is their balance sheet, and I'll zoom in a little bit right here and make it easier to read. We can see their current assets, total current assets, their cash position, which could be larger, but it's decent. It makes up a pretty substantial part of their total current assets, 38 billion yuan, and then 46 billion in total current assets. And then total assets, including long-term assets, would be 54 billion yuan or 8.3 billion US dollars. Total liabilities come out to 3.4 billion US dollars, which means that their total shareholder equity comes out to $4.1 billion. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit here. Then I'm going to go to page 169. This is the last page I'm going to be looking at. And this is basically like a detailed view of their cash flow statement. So we can see everything, all of the non-cash expenses that get added back to their cash position to show us a more accurate view of how much cash they generated from their operating activities, which came out to be 298 million US dollars. And then their investments, we can see a large part of their investments came from purchase of short-term investments, and then some of their income came from sale of short-term investments, but they bought more than they sold, so that ended up in a net loss for investing activities. And then for financing activities, they raised quite a bit of money from issuance of ordinary shares, so that might dilute shareholders that were holding on to it before they issued all of these shares. And we can see that they issued about 5.3 billion US dollars, or where is it? 5.3 billion, or about 34 billion yuan. So that's potentially a little risky for investors that are currently holding on to NIO stock, because since NIO isn't necessarily profitable, they continue to have to finance their activities through issuance of shares and taking on debt and things like that, and that's going to obviously continuously dilute the current shareholders. But let me know what you guys think about NIO's stock as an investment. How do you guys think it compares to, say, Tesla or other EV competitors in this space? And also, I would love to know how many shares you guys are holding, because I love talking about that stuff. So leave a like on the video if this video provided you any value. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see everyone in the next one.